At a young age, it was instilled in me, you have to work, make money. And I basically started taking care of my own self from the age of 5.
Rene Zamora Melgoza, real estate entrepreneur, helping people win in real estate.
A lot of what I owe to my success right now is my upbringing. I think that's what molded us to be who we are right now. And I think right now we're doing a disservice to our own kids by protecting them so much. They can't really handle life right now because there's no responsibility.
How long did it take you to start
Business? At that point in time, 2008, when the market crashed, I had to go back find the regular job because there was nobody buying homes.
How well were you doing before the crash?
I already had $100,000 in the bank.
Wow. The market shifts and your identity is here. How do you navigate the lows?
As long as you believe in yourself and what you're going to accomplish, you're up to win.
A lot of our audience are in the mortgage and real estate space. What advice would you have for them?
The biggest advice I could give those people, in opinion, is the cheapest commodity on earth. Stay focused, be consistent.
We could take it wherever we want because it's not formal. I have a couple of things that I do want to touch on. I want to make sure we touch on, but this is where we get to hear your story. There's also a lot of things about your upbringing, your childhood that I don't know, and I'd be curious to know. Rene, and well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about you guys had an inside joke right now that que andas bien Catrín y yo pues acá bien. Pero Mari dijo, no, pues desde niño, as in like, pues she obviously knows something that I wasn't around.
Mi madre siempre, she would always dress me up, suit and tie, or bow, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, no dejaba que me encochinara. That was one of the things. No dejaba ni que me pegara el aire.
El sol.
El sol. Porque me enfermaba. couldn't walk with barefoot because te vas a engripar. So.
Tell us more about the upbringing. So was it in Oxnard and then you guys moved to Phoenix, all of that?
I was born in Watsonville.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Raised in Oxnard.
¿A qué edad se fueron?
I was probably like 5 years old when I was born. Yeah.
I was born in Watsonville too.
Yeah.
We came to Modesto at the age of 3. My age of 3.
I was 5. I think a lot of what I owe to my success right now is my upbringing. As you know, your parents, my parents, they were, agricultural workers. And I basically started taking care of my own self from the age of 5. From the age of 5, I didn't have a babysitter. My mom and my dad would go work the strawberry fields. I just remember every day in the morning, my mom would wake me up and tell me, okay, the alarm's on, the food's on the table, your clothes is on the table, change, eat, lock the door before you go to school, get the bus. When you come back, lock yourself in the house. Don't open the door for anybody till we get home. That was my upbringing. So I had a lot of responsibilities from a young age.
Yo no sabía eso. So for me, it was fairly similar. Well, similarities in the sense where my mom en kindergarten tenía que ir, ya sea mi mamá o mi papá, un adulto tenía que ir a decir, aquel es el mío, Entonces ya. But in first grade, I no longer was required to have an adult go after school and get me. And what happened was that my parents would clock in when I would get out of school. So I had all the liberty in the world, which was why I was in the other side of town at such a young age and learning how to be pues un poquito ahí independent. But that's what comes to mind there with.
Ahí le va the responsibilities that I had at a young age, que ya me tenía mi mamá automatizado. Que una vez me dijo, no vayas a ir a la escuela because you have chickenpox. Pues yo, it was school, alarm went off, boom, my food was on the table, I saw clothes. Yo me cambié and I saw it was 8:30 and I was supposed to be at the bus stop at 7:30. I was in first grade, 5-mile run to school, hiding behind the cars para que no me mirara la policía because I was late to school. Got to school and within 10 minutes, the teacher's like, you're sick, you're not supposed to be here. Yeah. I had to call my aunt, she picked me up. I was so scared that my mom was gonna, reprimand me. No, she just you shouldn't have done it. Blah. She was worried, but yeah, that's the type of upbringing I had. I mean,
¿Qué tal? Ya ves que platicaste un poquito de que pues nuestros papás trabajaron en el campo. Yeah. Were you aware of that line of work? Like you knew that it's labor intensive. Like, did you have that at the top of your mind, or did you grow up and get to, I don't know, your the adolescencia, or just you grew up looking back thinking, damn, like that was...
I kind of found out that it was hard work when I would see them come home with, mud all over their boots, right? Wet.
Y eran trailers, ¿no? Back in the day.
Yeah, we lived in a small trailer.
Me llegó a la mente una memoria de trailer, las trailers.
In Oxnard? Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but I think that's what molded us to be who we are right now. And I think right now we're doing a disservice to our own kids by protecting them so much, making them so, what's the word I'm looking for? They can't really handle life right now, right? Because there's no responsibilities. We're taking all the responsibilities for them. We want them to live how we wish we lived when we were young, but unfortunately, at this point in time, we're actually hindering them instead of helping them.
Caught the tail end of it, where for many years, I'm still pampered. Yo si una emergencia, no, pues ya tengo ahí, ama un paro, and I could sell her. But the point is that stopped around the time that I joined the industry, and you helped me get into the mortgage business. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Pero porque Mari le dijo, hey, este cabrón ya está grande, like ya se graduó, like.
Déjenlo que se rasque con sus propias uñas.
¿A qué edad, compadre, did you have your first job, paying job?
I had part-time jobs. I worked at CarMax at like 20, 21.
Okay. My first paying job was at the age of 13. I would go every Sunday to the remate con un señor que vendía las decoraciones para hacer los recuerdos de los bautizos. So every Sunday from the age of 13. At the age of 14, at the schools, they were hiring kids for summer break. From that point on, at 16, I was still working the summer school, and I had two jobs, working at Kmart in the afternoons and during the day, summer school. So at a young age, it was instilled in me, you have to work, make money. Pero lo que no nos dijeron es que there's other ways of making money than a full-time 8-hour job.
So did you do the college thing as well, or no?
No, I had a 4-year paid scholarship to Cal Poly Pomona, and I let it go because I didn't want to major in agriculture, and look at where we live now. Yeah.
So you were an academic scholar.
I was a 4.0 GPA student.
Wow, esa no me la sabía.
Yeah, 4.0 GPA student. Wanted to be an electrical engineer. Decided to take a year off of school. Moved to Arizona, as you know, with my parents. That year became 2. I got married, and the rest is history.
So
Never went back to college.
¿A mi coma la conociste en Oxnard o la conociste en Arizona?
I met her when we moved to Santa Paula. I lived in the trailer park behind, and she lived in the trailer park in the front. And we crossed paths and started, friendship. And at the age of 13, I remember I was a month before, October 8th, my birthday's on the 11th. I asked her out, and we started going out. When I turned 14, we're already going out, and since then we've been, together. Me acuerdo que de primero yo no sabía hablar inglés. Ella no sabía hablar español. Nos sentábamos en sus steps, and I would...
Esa estaba interesante, entonces.
Yeah, it would take me like 5-10 minutes to figure out what I was trying to tell her, and she would thought that I was just a quiet one. No, I had a lot to say, but I couldn't say it. So, yeah, and we've been together since then.
I love it. So llegas a Arizona, and then you said you obviously didn't go the school route. What did you start doing in Arizona?
Llego a Arizona, odd jobs here and there, and then I started working at a warehouse. Got married.
Is that where my uncle worked?
No, a different warehouse, Cisco Food Service. Got married, bought my house 6 months after we got married, bought the first house.
You were how old?
20 when I bought my first house.
Neta. That's crazy.
Bought my first house when I was 20. I actually bought the first house when I was 19, but that was not my house. It was for my in-laws.
Oh, okay.
For my in-laws. Then I bought the second house at 20. Worked for 4 years. I was working nights, killing my ass, right? Picking up heavy boxes. And I would be leaving the house. My wife would be getting home from work, and we kind of never saw each other. So it was just like, you come, I go.
¿Cuánto tiempo duraron así?
4 years.
Oh, wow.
And then we were looking for our second home, and I remember I asked the person that was showing us house, hey, how do you do what you do? He's like, well, blah, 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 this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay, how long is the school? Oh, it's only a 20-hour course. I'm like, I'm in.
So what was it that caught your attention?
I just wanted out.
So
I wanted out of working nights. He told me the money was good.
Did he tell you what good was? Like, did he?
Yeah. He's average paycheck is 6 to 8 grand. I was like, well, I make about 5 grand working nights, and I've been doing the real estate part for the last 4 years, helping all my family members come to Arizona, showing them where the
andaba showing hasta acá, nosotros.
parents, everybody, right? But I wasn't getting paid for it, so I'm like, well, why not get paid for it, right? So I did that.
Did you by chance help the family, our parents? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I took the course. 30 days later, I passed the test. 30 days later, I was a real estate agent.
And how long did it take you to start?
Business. At that point in time, I was so hungry that this was April 26th of 2005, going way back. My daughter was born June 4th. From April 26th to June 4th, I already had $40,000 in the bank.
Wow.
And what did I do? I had to wait because my house, my second home, was getting delivered September. So I had to go back to work. And I was doing both jobs. But I had to go back to work because if not, they wouldn't approve me for the loan. Went back. And as soon as I got the keys, I walked in all suited and booted. And I told, hey, guys, I'm out. They're like, no, go get suited up, go to work. I'm like, no, I'm out.
So, ¿qué te decía la familia? Como que decían mis tíos o mi tía, porque ya ves que, pues.
My mom is the type of person that fixed pay, right? Stability, security. You're crazy until they started seeing the ups, but they also saw the downs, right? 2008 when the market crashed, and I had to go back and find the regular job because there was nobody buying homes.
Let's talk about that. So you were on a high. How well were you doing before the crash? Because you gave us April to.
We're talking
June.
about 2005, 2006, 2007. The best year, I think, I made about $180,000. And that, I mean, for somebody that was making, $50,000, $60,000 a year, $180,000 was
300% increase.
And that was at the age of 23.
Imagínate.
Yeah. But again, no mentor, right? So it was just, going through the woods, through the vines, trying to figure out what the next step was. The market crashed and everything came down.
So how do you process that? The market shifts and your identity's here, you're used to a certain lifestyle, a certain income. How do you navigate the valleys, the lows?
It humbles you real quick. You fight it for a while. Why me? And then you realize that it's actually a lesson in life. And that you can't be putting yourself down because you were there and now you're here. The thing you have to understand and remind yourself is that you already were there once, you could get there again. So, yeah.
¿Qué tal cuando empezaste a trabajar después de what was your first job that you went back into?
The first job that I went to was Chase Bank here.
Wait, but after the crash? So
after the crash, I did several odd jobs. It was, I even did security. I even did security. Anything.
I've never heard this.
Anything to make ends meet. I was, think about
Alex,
it.
you had Isa already or no?
I had Alex and Isa at that time.
Wow.
Yeah. Until we continued real estate, right? But it wasn't the same. It was, playing catch up. You know, you got a paycheck, but you already have it spent because it's already spent, right? So now you have to pay catch up. So we did a lot of that until potentially 2009, end of 2009, when I asked your brother, Alex, compa, how are you doing what you're doing? I see that you're successful. Goes, oh, get your license. Oh, here we go. Rene is like, boom. 30 days later, he has a CDL license hanging on his chest. I'm like, compa, I need to go. I want to move. I want to learn. And I came over here. And for a week, I was out there driving with him. For a week, he took me around. I was a passenger. I was just seeing what he was doing. And he would lend me the truck in afternoons on some streets. But once I felt it, I'm like, no, this is not for me. I'll kill somebody. I kill somebody. So, but we already had the momentum of moving over here, and we did. We moved, and first place I left my resume, Chase Bank in Oakdale. Within 24 hours, I was hired because of the people skills.
So that's where you came back into the business. But now on the lending side.
I came back into the business unconsciously because I got here, got hired as a banker, and 6 months later, the manager for lending caught wind that I was sending a lot of deals over to refis to the lender, and he offered me the position and learned 4 years with them. And then I left down to Southern California again because my wife, we had our fourth son. Your fault.
The birthday party.
The birthday party.
It was actually Mari's.
Oh, it was both of your faults. No, it wasn't your fault. It was a blessing. It was a blessing. I had my first son. We moved down south, and that's where I met the boys. I met Silver and Frank, which I owe a lot to. A lot, definitely a lot.
¿Cómo los conociste? So this is how you then went from
being for Chase to having my own shop.
You're in Chase, you move down south, you meet a couple gentlemen who did the same. In Santa Paula, what were you doing there? Were you also doing?
I was doing loans, but I was doing loans for Chase Bank.
Okay. So you just transferred?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And my wife was a real estate agent. And one day she calls me. She's like, hey, this guy named Silver wants to take me out to lunch to talk about doing business together. And I said, well, go for it. I mean, you can't do business with me. Chase won't allow it. Yeah. So go for it. She's like, I'm embarrassed. Come with me. I'm like, all right, cool.
Wow.
So I was going just to sit in and listen to their conversation. Yeah. And one thing led to another through the conversation. Silver's focus changed from my wife to me. And the same thing, here goes again. Hey, you should meet with us. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Went over the next day. They showed me their paychecks. They asked me how much I was getting paid per loan. It was peanuts. And 30 days later, I have my license. And then here comes the fork in the road. Do you stay in Oxnard where your mentors are at and try to compete with them? Or do you go to a different territory and open up shop? And I told them, hey, thank you for the opportunity. I was going to join you. I gave my wife 30 days to decide what she wanted to do because Southern California was very, very expensive for us. I had 4 kids. The salary wasn't, making it meet. And I told her, you have 30 days. We go back to Arizona, start doing real estate. We go back up to Modesto, but you don't have any family over there, but I don't want to hear any complaints anymore. Or we stay here and see how long we last with the high cost. 30 days came and went, and she had no answer for me. So I told her, I'll give you one more day. If not, I'm going to make my own decision. My own decision was going back to Arizona. I was already, boom, I'm out. And the next day, she said, let's go back to Modesto. I told the guys, you know what? Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to try to join your office, but I'm going to move to Modesto. And he's like, come see me. And I did. I went.
Who was it?
Frank.
Siberio or Frank? Okay, Frank.
Y me dice, how many relationships do you have over there in Modesto? Relationships? Yeah, real estate relationships. I looked at my hands. I'm like, 10. I didn't have any.
Yeah.
I didn't have any. They're like, all right, we'll open up an office for you. We'll support you with our staff and get you going, blah, blah, blah. Here comes Rene.
Pero para ese entonces ya sabían, like, when you say, okay, you met them, did they ever see you produce? Did they have an idea that you were going to be a good investment for them or for them?
Yeah, they asked for my numbers. They asked for my background.
But you never produced down there.
I was producing, but inside the four walls.
Okay, so in Chase.
In Chase.
But never with them.
With agents out there, no. With them, no. I was still with Chase while I was trying to either figure out if I was going to stick with them and get out of Chase or come back or move to Arizona. And
you come to Modesto?
I come to Modesto, I'm unloading my truck, and I tell my uncles and your brother, Beto, hey, guess what? I'm opening up an office. And they looked at me worried. That what is this guy doing? So yeah, and I was worried as well. I mean, there was a time and place after 3 months after leaving Chase that I was sitting in the living room by myself while my kids were asleep, figuring out what I was doing because there was no money coming in. I was self-employed and unemployed, trying to figure out how I was going to get this ship on the road. My savings was dwindling, and I had a choice there. Either call it quits and call Dad and have Dad save me, or, tighten up my belt and man up and go out there and kick some ass. And here we are.
So then we're here. You and mi coma are at una ceremonia de ustedes where you're getting recognized by your company for making President's Club, the President's Circle. 130 loans is a lot. Even if you have a team, 130 loans is a lot of business. So fast forward to this. What comes to mind when you see this? And a lot of our followers, a lot of our audience are in the mortgage and real estate space. What advice would you have for them?
What advice would I have for them is stack up your wins, little wins. One after another will lead to a big win. Stay focused. There's a lot of noise out there. A lot of noise. Do you? I mean, it's good to, admire other people, but you are your own self. And don't try to mimic something that you're not. Discipline. Be consistent. There's very, very few things that I've done right in this business will open up the doors to a lot of opportunities. A lot of people get, what's the word I'm looking for? Distracted by the new things that are coming out, thinking that if they implement that new thing, it's going to get them to 10x their business. When the original tasks that have been put in place from years back, if you just implement them and are consistent, they will generate what you need.
Yeah, we call them brilliant at the basics.
Yep.
Los atletas van brilliant at the basics.
Yep.
Yeah, porque pues llega, new pieces of technology that we get excited about and new drip campaigns and CRMs. And
CRM is a big one. Follow-up is key. CRM for real estate agents and for more lenders. If you don't have a CRM, I'm sorry, that's something that is like a necessity in this business, because it's your assistant. If you're a solo LO, who else is gonna remind you of who you need to call to make sure that you're staying on top of your leads? So,
what comes to mind here?
What are some of your favorite memories? And in the
That's when that you know what?
en el video vamos a poder poner estas imágenes so they'll see it.
That memory, that picture, Batman and Robin, that picture, Silver and Frank, that picture, we're gonna take over the world. That picture brings a lot of fucking memories, a lot of good memories, a lot of good memories.
What are some of your favorite memories from? You guys know that, and if you don't, then I'll tell you now. But mi compa es quien me introdujo al mundo de hipotecas, and we owe you everything. You know, I've always felt torn inside because I consider myself a very honorable person. I'd love to give people their flowers and recognize them and just share where, you know, I'm learning everything that I'm learning from. And I never gave you your flowers. And now I get an opportunity to introduce you guys who brought me into the business and who has indirectly impacted so many lives. So it's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time.
Memories of us playing poker, having some good drinks, some good laughs.
Karaoke.
The karaoke, you were always there. You're always there, karaoke. One big memory I remember is we were at the Riverbank Ranch where I was renting. And it was my birthday, I think. And we're in the backyard. And we're having a couple of, you know, cold ones. I remember I told you. And I know I've told you several times. I told you before you even knew it, you were trying to find, you know, what direction to take. I told you, compadre, you are a natural. Anything you set your mind to, you could accomplish. You have that type of attraction. Just focus and you'll get it done. You are. Look at what you've been able to build. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that you're successful, right? So keep going, keep doing it.
Yeah, it's yo me acuerdo cosas simples como ir you would take me to Dunkin' Donuts aquí I think that was your the first office. Then we would go to that Mexican restaurant across the street. You know, I remember and what I respect so much from you, and we could see it just even from the way you show up, is that your professionalism when you were in your work setting, like that mode turned on. You know, it was like, even hasta conmigo, it was like, hey, compa, pues, you know, I love you and all, pero ponte chingón. And with your standard, when you're helping your clients, when you're helping, you know, anybody that's in the work setting, fue algo que noté yo que, hey, he doesn't play.
Yeah, I'm the type of person very hard on myself. When something doesn't go my way, I just right? I have to bring it up and make the person that fucked up or messed up, make them aware that it can't happen again. Why? Because as a producer, you carry the whole responsibility in your back. You know, if you don't close the transaction for a mistake that somebody else made, not only there's several families that are going to get affected by it, right? So,
yeah. So eso lo admiro mucho, compa, your level of professionalism. But check this out. I'm going to read it to you. Dice, to the junior high school principal that told the 7th grade boy that was just learning to speak English, you will never amount to anything in this world.
Oh.
How did that feel? So you got yourself
I went to where that principal told me to that junior high school.
So tell our people aquí, tell them what you're looking at. Like, this is you in front of, and
that was a goal I had. I bought a brand new 2021 at that time Lamborghini Huracan Urus.
So you had a lot of doubters on your way up. What comes to mind there? And again, it's I also like to leave our people with ¿qué recomendaciones les damos a los que tienen a gente que they don't want to let down? Like for me, it was my mom. She was always one of the believers that if I talked crazy and people would clown on me, que, oh, este cabrón que dice que va a ser millonario. My mom was like the one that would be, me daba mis alas. But then there's also people that are naysayers and they're doubters, and they also let you know that they don't believe that you're going to amount to anything. So we have a little bit of both. What do we leave our people with whenever they're encountering the people in their life that are naysayers, that are doubters?
The biggest advice I could give those people is the following. an opinion is the cheapest commodity on earth. Anybody can give it to you. As long as you believe in yourself and what you're going to accomplish, whatever other people have to say, throw it out the window.
Fits you, Michael Mahan. I thought it was a red Honda. Yo no me acuerdo si tú me habías contado.
Honda after that.
Yo no me acuerdo si, yeah, I think you had shared, no, pues yo quería un Hondita, yo quería un red Lambo porque pues también tenía un Hondita rojo, pero how much has my coma, this picture of you and my coma?
She's my pillar before you say anything else.
How has my coma?
She's impacted me in the way that she's allowed me to believe in myself when I have not been able to believe in myself. That's the type of person that she is.
What's an example of that? Like, walk me through a story that something like that happened.
I was a nobody. I thought I was nobody, and she always believed that I was a somebody.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, ese carro que miras ahí,
¿Qué era? ¿Un Acura o qué era?
no, it's a Prelude. Her mom bought it for me.
¿Neta?
Her mom lent me the money to buy that vehicle because my parents didn't want me to buy it. And behind their back, I told my suegra, hey, and we were going out. We were not even, married or anything. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And she said, here's the money. Go buy it. You can pay me back later. Yeah, within 4 months, she had her money, but soy una de las personas que soy bien terco. Cuando se me pone algo en la cabeza, it's just, I'm going to get it done and I'm going to get it done.
Piece of advice, top one, if you want to share two, for married couples in business. What has helped you and my coma?
Choose a woman wisely, not by their looks. When I found my wife and I knew she was going to be the one, I knew she was going to be the one because of the head she had on her shoulders, the mentality, the smarts. Yeah, choose your woman wisely.
Me gusta mucho esto que tienes en tu oficina. No sé si todavía la tengas aquí, pero la tenías en otra. Dice, if you're going to be away from them, you better make it count. You have an incredible family, compa. Yeah. I love that. I see the work that I know you always give you give her all the credit. Y sé que es un equipo, but I read this too, and I love it. This is the season of life I'm entering and what I'm most excited for. But I read this message. You say, you're moving up. So proud of you. This feels like a dream. It doesn't feel real. You have been a beast. I thank God every day for blessing us these past months. You're going great. One proud daughter, I could cry. You deserve it all. A message that your daughter sent you on one of your posts. How does that feel?
It puts a drive in you when you don't have that energy, right? Knowing that I'm the type of person that I care less about a gift. I'd rather you tell me how much you appreciate me and how much
You
acknowledge my sacrifices, right? Which, going back to that, my family, the way they've been raised has been all my wife. I have sacrificed my time away from them to build what I've been able to build for them. But she has been able to, raise my kids the way that, I cannot tell you that I have a bad child in the home.
No,
right?
Incredible job.
The only one that is giving me gray hair is Gavino right now. And yesterday, his school teacher told me that, or all his school teachers told me that he is an exceptional student. So I'm like, oh, wow. So.
Pues que el hombre, he has to live up to it.
Yeah.
So a mí me encanta esto, compa, because it's your Disneyland. I call that, I use that term a lot in our.
Disneyland?
Yeah, your Disneyland.
Where are you going with that?
I see this.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that this is something that you maybe imagined as a little boy. Like what would the extraordinary life look like? And I see you in your Disneyland with your family, with business, with your hobbies, your toys, tu ranchito. Like it's what I would call a Disneyland.
Yeah, it's a passion of mine. I mean, I've since I was a kid, my mom's side of the family had, cattle and horses, and something that really pulled me in at a later age. At a younger age, I told myself when I was about probably 6, 7 years old, when I get older, I'm gonna have a ranch and I'm gonna have horses. And I never let go of that dream. Never let go of the dream. I lost it in 2006. I lost that dream, but I said, okay, I wasn't ready for it. You knew I wasn't ready for it. Prepare me.
You're talking about the man upstairs.
Yep.
Okay.
I told him prepare me so I could be ready for it. And yes, he took something away, which at one point I asked him why, right? But I had no clue that he was going to give me something 10 times better. So
It was a season, we talk about that con los líderes. Les digo, miren, es fácil decir, no, pues, we have these God-given talents and we have the platform, we have the team, the support. And at the same time, what we should never forget is to also pray for the character that is able to steward what God puts in our hands. Yeah. And I think that that's what happened in that season. It was developing your character to be able to be a good steward. And now, I see you handle yourself very maturely, because nunca me lo dijiste, pero me dijiste, I have a financial goal of having this much saved up, and when I do this, then I'll buy the Lambo, or then I'll buy the Rolex or the toys. You were very disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because you have to set those goals up accordingly. You can't buy, el lazo antes de la vaca, right? So it's just, con tiempo, I mean, everything happens at a certain stage in life.
I haven't seen it, but I hope we go pretty soon. And then, I see that mi tia's been there.
That's the happiest place on earth for me. That's where I go and disconnect and readjust my thoughts and my goals and come back with more energy to be able to fulfill another trip back there. I just got back and I already told my wife we should go back again. And I know, Prima, you feel the same way, right? Once you find your little heaven, you want to relive it one time and again.
Does it ever feel surreal that you've made all this
possible?
Yeah, it feels surreal. I never thought that I would have a home in Mexico. Nonetheless,
The type of home.
build the home in Mexico with my own sweat and tears, my own money, no financing, no nothing. It was just $1 after $1, right? So it is surreal, but it opens up your eyes to allow you to, how can I say it? Allow you to believe in bigger and hairier and scarier goals.
What are some of those that you have on? Any that you care to share?
You know what, compa? I've learned over the past years that work in silence and keep a lot of your goals to yourself, just for the same reason that a lot of people might be happy for you and a lot more might not be.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of goals out there.
Yo les digo, hold me accountable para que no digan luego que fue puro pedo.
No, I believed at one point in time, I believed that if I would spit it out to everybody, I was sending it out to the universe and it was going to happen. But I came to realize that it also happens if you're just in silent and quiet. You can make it happen, right?
So ¿cómo sientes we're missing some family members there, but how do you feel knowing that I would assume overachieved everybody's expectations, everybody in your family, mis tíos, mi tía, tus brothers, Sally, like, how does that feel? You're the one in the family. You've set the bar pretty, you've been an exceptional example. How does that sit?
How does that feel?
Do you think about it, or?
There's a lot of responsibility behind that, right? Because there's a lot of eyes watching. Not only family members, but there's other, kids that are out there, friends of my daughters, friends of my sons. So it's a lot of responsibility. Very proud of what I've been able to accomplish. More proud of what you've been able to accomplish. Te voy a decir una cosa. And I don't know if I was just myself talking to myself, but I was about 7 years old, and I was within the bus stop. It was a winter day, I remember, because I was cold. I was wearing one of those big old puffy Chicago Bulls jackets. I had my hood over, and I saw two kids fighting. Pasaban los carros, and I'm gonna have one of those. I'm gonna have one of those. I'm gonna have one of those. And then I heard a voice tell me, I put you into this earth to become somebody great. You're going to leave a mark before you leave. And I've held that thought in my mind, and I could tell you that I haven't accomplished what that message was. But I know that I'm striving to be able to see for myself what that message meant to me when I was 7 years old. So I live by that every day.
Do you think would you say that's like
No.
faith? Is that your faith? Do you think that was God telling you that? And how has that impacted your life? Like, what is faith like for you?
Faith in life? Faith in life, family, first of all. Humbling. That's something that I've been able to humble myself a lot lately. Talking to God more often, right? Making sure you put Him in front of anything else. So that's what faith means to me.
Cuando dices que I've been humbling myself a lot lately, what do you mean?
How?
How? In the sense that I've put at peace a lot of resentment I had towards a lot of individuals. You and I weren't talking for a while, as you know. But it's just nothing to do with you. It's just, he said, she said kind of thing. And it's just...
What are the biggest lessons there? Because as leaders, I consider myself a leader. You're a leader. I think that there's a lot of people que a veces hasta en familias tienen ese mismo resentimiento, that hopefully that could also be a lesson that...
The biggest lesson for me is time doesn't come back. That's it.
Fíjate cómo, thank God for the mediator, the person that's like, Andy, Ben, my brother in this case. Ben, I talk. If I would have been more mature emotionally, spiritually, and then had initiated that conversation sooner, we could have gotten a lot of time back and shared memories. Porque fíjate cómo en un ratito it was like... So I mean, I was ready a long time ago, but I never initiated it. And thank God for you that you were ready, and you were like, dile, cabrón, que venga. Y así nos recibimos casi, llorando, pisteando ahí un ratito, and it was like, over what?
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes it's just, I don't want to say it, but sometimes the loss of a family member really opens up your eyes and makes you realize that it's not worth it, right? As we both lost a cousin a few months back, and it's not worth it. Family first. Blood's thicker than water. So.
Any last thoughts, compa, that you want to share with our people? It got emotional there, but...
Any last thoughts?
It could be biggest life lesson. It could be, which you already shared some powerful ones. Anybody in the industry, anybody, I don't know, ramping up their business.
Get a mentor. Get a coaching plan going. Decide if you're going to go into any type of business, if you want to build that to have a full-time life, or if you want to have an empire and have a part-time life. You can't have both.
Ooh, that's great. ¿Por qué dices el mentor? Like, let's go deep.
And everybody needs a mentor, right? You're getting started. It's like me when the first time that I crashed and burned, I didn't have a mentor. I was just walking with my eyes closed, trying to figure it out. But why try to figure something out that somebody else already figured out for you? Right? Get a mentor. And figure out if you want to, sacrifice and build an empire, or build something that's going to give you a full-time life and have a part-time job. Because in this business, you can do it that way. You can have a full-time life and part-time job, because think about it, an average monthly income, what is it, $120,000? That's $10,000 a month. Right here with 2 deals that you close, you can make 20 grand. That's a real estate agent. I don't know about lending, right? So you could have a part-time job and a full-time life.
Pues, thank you, compa. Thanks to you, we're enjoying an incredible season in life, and it's all thanks to you. So,
well, the line goes down. I could thank Frank and Silver for the opportunity, and Frank and Silver is going to thank somebody else. And it's just, you keep passing it down, right? Don't keep it to yourself. Pass it down. If you have the knowledge, share it.
thank you, compa, for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Chingón. Where do our people follow you, compa?
My people?
Yeah, so, ¿qué plataformas usas so they can follow you?
My platform mainly is Facebook, Rene Zamora Melgoza, IG, Modesto Mortgage Pro. Those are the 2 that I use.
Ya está. There you have it.